challenge inevitably is taxation change. Annual allowance changes, lifetime allowance changes. They're making pension unattractive, if not completely unviable for a number of people. But the constant change, I think, puts people off. So I think we'll see what comes out of the consultation. And then we plan, we're sort of just treading water a little bit in terms of how we structure arrangements pending the consultation. But people lose faith when it's constantly changing. You're not quite sure what you're aiming for. And the traditional pension is long-term, has long since gone out of the window, unless you define long-term as about 18 months. So inevitably it's got to be the pension tax changes. For us, it's a big deal. And until we know what we're dealing with there, it's going to be pretty difficult to plan how we move forward.
Yeah, I tend to agree with a lot of that. I mean, my fear is that the annual allowance, lifetime allowance change will be that my role will be distracted in talking to the few, as opposed to helping the many, because I can't ignore my high earners here, but they're 100 or so out of 117,000 or so. That's the big issue. The trust issue is very important. We need a little bit more stability. People have lost faith in pensions because the goalposts keep moving. And why would you want to lock up your money for as long as we demand, especially when there's ISAs and other vehicles you can save in, unless you can trust that the model still works when it's time to receive your benefit?
I think the big opportunity over the next 12 months and beyond is just more people saving more in pensions, which is great news. Auto-enrolment, we mustn't forget, has been a fantastic success story so far. A lot of small companies are now about to start coming into the system, so that's going to bring a lot of people who have never saved for a pension through the workplace into doing so. So that is a fantastic. I think the big threat, as colleagues have mentioned, is potential tax relief reform. John's absolutely right about the way in which constant change can be destructive of trust in pensions, so we are very concerned about that.
No, likewise, I fully agree. Pension taxation, let's have some stability. I think trust has been undermined, so let's have some stability and bring the trust back in. And equally, James, I pick up on your point that auto-enrolment has been a success. We shouldn't forget, though, that there's a lot of people not covered by automatic enrolment, particularly part-time, the entitled worker, non-eligible job holders who don't meet the salary or the age criteria. And what are they going to do for their retirement? Yeah. They're going to be totally dependent, really, on the state pension. And again, that comes back to the fact that, we do want continuity in the long term in terms of what the saving model needs to be, particularly when it comes to retirement provision.
I think the biggest challenge over the next 12 months or so will be just in communicating. Communications of what's already happened, what's about to happen probably in relation to the tax changes is a massive challenge to get that over so that people will understand it and it will not just be a complete turn-off at a time when it needs to be anything but. So I think that's our biggest challenge. What I would like to see is a rebranding of pensions to make it attractive for people actually to understand that it will translate to a better life for them in old age. And how you get young people to make that leap, I don't know, but I think that would be wonderful if we could achieve that.
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges I actually think is for trustees over the coming months. I think there are still a lot of trustees out there with this kind of wait and see attitude, which I think is completely wrong. I don't think that's an attitude you can have when you've got people retiring today. So I think the challenge for them is that they need to think about actually what is the process they're going to put in place. I don't think they've been helped, to be fair, by the pension regulator, because we're in this kind of slightly bizarre situation now where actually, if you're in a contract scheme, the FCA rules are far more protective of the individual than if you're in a trust-based scheme, which I think to most people would be completely counterintuitive. So given the weakness, if you like, in what the pension regulator asks for right now, I think trustees should be getting a model retirement process in place. There are organisations out there that will deliver that in terms of the education, in terms of the advice that we spoke about earlier. And I think ultimately that just creates a fantastic opportunity, which is a win for all parties. It's a win for the employer because they can manage their workforce and ensure that they do retire and they're not still working when they're 90. It's a win for the employee because hopefully they will make the right decisions. They won't be scammed. They will get their tax right. They will make the right decisions for them personally. And I think it'd be good for the trustees because they will know that actually they've put in a robust process which is working for all.
And for me, I think the challenge is we've got the new state pension launching next April, so all the interaction with contracting out and private pension too. So we're busy sort of working with the Department for Work and Pensions about how we talk to people on the phone about all of that. That's quite a big challenge for us. But in the opportunity space, I think we're just at TPAS. We love having conversations with people about pensions. So the opportunity to have more of those conversations with people about pensions is in front of us. So it's a fantastic opportunity, I think, for us.